So today we are going to be going out and inspecting a couple of hives. We'll be looking at one that's in one of our urban bee host programs that's here in Melbourne City, and then we'll be looking at one that's out in the countryside. What makes it particularly interesting at this time is because when I'm making this video, Melbourne City is currently under stage 4 lockdown. That means because of the coronavirus outbreak or COVID-19, there's heavy restrictions on what we can do. But here in Melbourne, we also have a permit system. So the government has done as best as they can to make sure that people who need to keep working can keep working. And they're particularly interested in making sure that beekeepers or apiarists are able to go out and look after their hives for obvious reasons. So today, we're going to go do that. We're going to go check up on one of our hives, and I'll show you how we at Urban Bee Project Australia have to work in order to make sure that it's all safe for us to go out in this current environment, in the COVID-19 environment, whilst obeying the law. So the government has insisted that we all have permits. I've got mine here, and we're going to get ready to go and visit our first hive. But first, we need to load up the car with some equipment. Okay, so I'm all loaded up, ready to go, but I figured just before I leave, I'll explain to you why I'm allowed to go out. Under the stage 4 restrictions in Victoria, in Melbourne, the government decided that they would allow us to do certain works as long as we prepared ourselves to deal with infectious disease control. So, and for once it's not bee infectious diseases, it's human infectious diseases. So with the help of the state government and federal government, we received a set of outlines. I had to draw up a COVID safe plan. In other words, this is a plan that details how I plan on conducting my work in a way that remains safe and keeps my clients as well as myself safe from contracting COVID-19. And then also ways of tracking and reporting any outbreaks that may occur during my operations. I have to document that. Then I have to forward on this same plan or the steps that we're taking to each one of my clients that I intend on visiting during the stage 4 lockdown, which I've done, gave them plenty of notice. I also had to give them the opportunity to back out if they weren't comfortable with us visiting and inspecting the hives during this time period, which we did, and we are more than willing to accommodate around that. We understand people's sensitivities around this and they want to stay safe. And so do we. Then after that, we have to prepare our vehicles for COVID safe. So we have sanitizer, we also have our face masks ready to go, as well as cleaning equipment to sanitize our surfaces. And then of course our permit. So I've gone along, created my permit, I've signed off on the days that I need to work and the locations that I need to work at. Now, what's important is I also need to keep track of where I've been. So a little register that keeps track of where I'll have to fill in and say that I was at this location at this time, just in case there is an outbreak. I can then track down whoever I need to contact in order to help the government with their contact tracing. So overall, it's a bit of a hairy situation at the moment in Melbourne. We've just passed 4 weeks of lockdown. We've got another week, 5 weeks of lockdown. It's supposed to end in another week, but at this point in time the government doesn't think that's going to happen. We're looking at probably another 2 weeks from there, but we'll have to wait and see. In the meantime, the government has made some relaxations to allow us to go out and inspect our hives. So today I'm going to show you how we inspect our hives during COVID-19. It's really not much different. One of the benefits of being a beekeeper is generally people tend not to want to be near you. So there's some benefits to being surrounded by a swarm of stinging creatures. Keeps people away, that's for sure. And then after that first we're going to go into a stage 4 area where we have a beehive in our urban environment, and then we're going to go and have a look at some of our country beehives. So we have 2 sets of beehives, our urban ones which are primary beehives, and then we have some in the country too, which help us maintain our stock and supply and maintain our numbers. All right, let's get going. We've got a bit of a drive. So just a bit of feed or context about this hive. So we put this hive in here in March 2020, actually a bit before that probably. We started this off with a queen we purchased, so this is the first time it's getting inspected. We're hoping that this year it'll produce honey, and we're going to split it, but for now we're just going to inspect it, make sure there's no burr comb and everything's ready for summer, because we are going into spring now. Let's see what happens. Alright, so we've had a look at the bees. Going to get suited up and we're going to have our quick inspection to make sure everything's okay. They look nice and healthy. From the outside, that is. Bee activity is pretty good. Let's get to it. I haven't filled it, so it's just empty wax, which means they're just on the verge of getting started. They're covered in wax, in pollen.
Cool.
There's something going off at the moment. It's a bright orange pollen.
Calendula.
Sorry?
Calendula.
Okay. I must like your garden.
Woohoo!
A very nice temperament too. If you want to have a look inside before I... So these are what we call brood frames.
Yep.
So they would just be for the workers. And then we have these, which are called drone frames. And they help the queen to produce male bees, which helps with the genetic diversity within all the bee population everywhere in this area. And that's it.
Awesome.
Okay, ladies, thank you for letting me in. Okay, so that went well. Hive looks healthy. Put another brood box on there with the hopes of eventually using that to split this hive and give this bee host a second beehive, which would be great. It's a really nice area for plants and food. They look like they're getting plenty of food out here, plenty of pollen, so they should all be good. Now it's time to head off to our next hive location. Alright, so now we're going to head off to our second location. We finished up at our urban beehive. Now I'm going to show you guys our country beehive. Now this is in an area called that's under stage 3 restrictions in Victoria. It's Ballarat, which is about an hour to 2 hours outside of Melbourne. This is where we're hoping to set up quite a few hives that will help us maintain our stock and supply and to support the urban environment in case anything were to happen. But yeah, here we go. So we're about to do an inspection on these hives. These were set up around the same time as the hives in the city, so around March 2020. Good activity, it's a little bit cool, but we're going to have a look inside and see how they're going, and hopefully they're all good. Let's get suited up.
Not liking that. Cross-combing that side. Working away, not great, but they're getting there. Mostly healthy, no bird comb, it's all good. Queen was accepted, then in the pocket. Alright, let's have a look here. So, they're doing okay. There's plenty of food around. It's just cold. For bees, that is. But I mean, I'll show you guys what it looks like. Plenty of, lots of native vegetation. So the hopes is that we'll be able to put quite a few bees out here. And then this can act as our stock. So that's the last of our inspections today. I hope you found that interesting, seeing how we work during the COVID lockdown and how we have to beekeep under COVID-19 restrictions. So hopefully this will all be over soon, and one day we'll be able to do it a lot more freely, and we're hoping that this season, so 2020-2021, will be a good season. Be nice to have at least something good come out of 2020. Anyway, take it easy. Subscribe to the channel if you like it. If you have any questions or comments, put them in the comments bar down below, and like and subscribe. It helps us make more of these videos. Anyways, make friends with a bee.